Anyway, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, very good.
Apart from the cold and everything.
Apart from the cold, yeah.
I'm glad we finally got the chance to talk. So I'd kind of come across you really when I think I saw you in, was it Ghost of Darkness? The film that you did a couple of years ago now, wasn't it? 2017, something like that?
Even earlier, I think we...
Was it... What was that like, filming that? Because I really enjoyed the character that you played in that. What was the guy's name? Jonathan Blaze, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Jonathan Blaze.
With a fine line in tweed suits and the like. What was that? Tell me about how did that come around? First of all, 'cause there's a few things I want to talk about. Like Knightmare Live and all that stuff. But I'll just talk about the films if I can first of all. So, how did you get involved with David, Ryan Keith, and those guys?
Well, they all sort of intertwined, really. I did a Knightmare Live show in Aberdeen as part of a UK tour after we'd done Edinburgh, done quite well. And one of the original cast members from Knightmare, Alec, you have to find his name. He knows David and Lorraine, and he invited them down to watch. And they sort of saw the performance, and we met afterwards, really briefly, because we had a long drive and everything. Yeah. And I thought nothing more of it. And then about 3 months later, I think, David wrote to me and sent me the script, and would you like to be in this film? And all that kind of thing. And here's Jonathan Blazer, what do you think? And so obviously I was elected it.
Did you have a lot of input with the character? Because there seemed a little bit, whether or not it was all the script, but there seemed a lot of yourself in the part. Would that be fair to say?
Well, David had written him to be a bit like Michael Traylor Treguard.
Okay.
So I think he'd written it with that performance in mind. And yeah, very much. We luckily for me, David's very much up for collaborating at that time, and so I was allowed to sort of add jokes and add bits and pieces to it as I went. So yeah, it was it wouldn't be inaccurate to say that there's quite a bit of me in the character, but
yeah.
So I didn't come up with it, but I had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah, was it fun? Was it the first film that you've done, or had you done anything sort of similar before?
Yeah, that's certainly my first feature.
Yeah,
I've not done anything of note before that. So yeah, it was a big deal, a really big deal.
And how did you feel? What do you think? How do you feel about the process and of filming?
I really enjoy it. Having not done it before, it was lovely to go on to a small production like that.
Yeah.
We shot it in 2 locations. So the first location we stayed there for about a month, and there was a small crew of us. And there's Michael Coltis, who was obviously he was Jack Donovan.
Yeah.
Our actor. He was employed most days, so he was filming a lot more than I was, which was lovely. So I was, half the time I was on set filming, and half the time had this beautiful Scottish countryside to explore, or do some cooking, or so I really got to take my time with the process, which was really, really nice. But I found it a lot of fun, and it's obviously totally different from stage.
I can only imagine. I mean, did you enjoy watching yourself, as it were? I mean, I've talked to quite a few actors who can't stand to watch.
No, I do find it very hard. Although I've done a screening of Ghost of Darkness for some friends.
Yeah.
Where I got quite drunk before it started the movie. So that sort of took the edge off. So some of my other friends are also in films, so it helps that they've done screenings of their films, so it feels like, oh, okay, that's something we do. That's not just me going.
But getting drunk's always a good way to do it anyway. So what the hell? Have you ever thought of doing the sort of taking the Jonathan Blazer character and taking it on stage or something, or doing anything else with it?
Yeah. I wrote a sort of Jonathan Blazer live show. Last year, was it? Might have been last year at Salt Festival. It was very sort of like early days, work in progress, scratch sort of thing. And there's something there. There's definitely something over that character. I really, really enjoy him.
I agree. Yeah.
But I think I don't know. There's more. I think there's more plot to mine on screen.
Yeah.
He's sort of certainly better because he suits having the versatility of cinema. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sort of like quietly writing bits of screenplays of other sort of sequels and prequels of him.
Yeah.
For sort of no one's benefit but mine.
So obviously you've worked again with David and Lorraine, The Dark Within, which I think's coming out summer. I think it's July. I think it's
summer. Yeah.
Which is a very different role from Jonathan Blaze. You play Marcus. You play in this, who's a little bit tortured, a little bit it's got a bit of a history. So it's almost the polar opposite in terms of it's a very dramatic role. There's very little comedy, in this.
Yeah, it's a huge departure for me.
Yeah.
Having played sort of nothing but comedy for the best part of 10 years, and I've never done dramatic roles before, but it was a huge challenge.
Yeah.
A huge challenge on several levels. One, doing a dramatic role. Two, being the sort of the main actor of the film. So I was on set every day.
Yeah.
All day. So there's a lot of sort of responsibility and a lot of and so there was a lot of process and a lot of trying to get things right and trying to do the best you can,
Yeah. What was the filming experience like?
It was similar. It was intense. It was far more intense. but there was a lot of the same people from Ghost of Darkness had turned up, a lot of the same crew, and obviously David and Lorraine are really good together. So we all knew each other. So there was a good level of communication and a good sort of camaraderie about the whole project. And so I think it made things a lot easier.
Okay.
You're standing in the middle of Scotland being eaten alive by midgets. If you didn't know people, you might not laugh.
I know, right?
You can look at each other and go, oh god.
Yeah, we'll laugh about this one day. One day we might laugh about it.
Exactly.
I suppose you can forget all about that once it's done. Have you seen the finished film? Have you seen?
I've not seen it totally complete. I've seen sort of early stuff before the final effects are on and things like that.
Oh, because I've got kind of one up on you because I was lucky enough to see it just a few nights ago. David said, "Do you want to put some word out in advance?" And I'm not just saying this because I'm speaking to you. I really enjoyed it. I loved your performance. Seriously, I loved it. It was great. I mean, it was a shock. I don't mean this in a patronising way in terms of the difference between Ghost of Darkness and the comedy, and then this. It was. I mean, did you feel as if is it that classic thing of getting lost in the kind of trauma of the part, because it is a very traumatic role that you're playing, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot of there's some crying. I certainly wouldn't recommend the two films as like a double bill. Getting a night out, and hey, let's watch all the Paul Flannery films. Don't do that. But yeah, again, I feel like having familiarity with the guys on set and David, and to be able to sort of introduce the idea, because there's certain bits of it where it's like, okay, we just need to do, you've been sitting around in a cold warehouse for sort of a couple of hours, and right, we just need to do that one bit where you're sitting there, we roll the camera in, and you're crying. Okay, so just 5-10 minutes warning, and I'll go off and talk or whatever, like listen to crowd music or something, we'll go in. But again, David and the rest of the crew were great. They made such a big effort to create an atmosphere where it's without wanting to sound cheesy and wanky, it's a lot of, I find, the sort of dramatic stuff is allowing emotion to happen rather than forcing it.
Right. Okay.
It comes from everybody in the room as well. If the energy there is one of like, you are safe and welcome and you are allowed to do this without anybody sort of staring at you or putting you off or doing anything weird, then you'll get a much better sort of product. How do
you get into that moment? Then I've often wanted to ask actors, and I've seen it done close up, and it's a weird thing seeing somebody get into that moment of just
Do you have a little secret? Do you have a little image that you use, or? Everyone's is different.
Yeah.
I use music quite a lot.
Okay.
And it was a real learning curve for me as well to be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
I've never done that before on camera, certainly. And then Kendra turns up, and she just whatever you like. It was frustratingly brilliant actress.
Yeah.
Just really good.
Just bloody annoying, yeah.
She's also really nice.
That's even worse, isn't it? At least if she'd have been a bit of a cow, it could have been all right. But no.
No, she's a fantastic human being as well. It's awful.
Oh, no, terrible.
It was great, but yeah, it was really like, oh wow, you're really good. So that sort of helped us all. Okay, good.
For those, because obviously not many people have seen the film yet, can you just explain what your character's role is? Because, like you said earlier on, I mean, you pretty much carry the film. It's very much it's not really an ensemble piece. I mean, Kendra's in it, and there's a small cast, but you've got the central role. So, could you explain what your role is and what the film is generally about?
So Marcus Anderson is an artist of sorts. A bit of a sort of bit of a scruffy, arty type. And we find out that he was abandoned by his parents sort of 18 years ago for reasons unknown.
Yeah.
And throughout the film, he has flashbacks and bits of memory start reoccurring to him as part of his therapy. He's advised to go to a family cabin that they have for holidays deep in the Scottish Highlands. And he goes there and discovers some secrets regarding his father's work. And he does a few things he probably shouldn't. Things unfold. The kind of classic. Well, don't go through the door.
Don't go down the cellar. Yeah.
Marcus goes down. He'll do all the stuff, and things that sort of unfold from there. And it's sort of a voyage of discovery about what happened to his folks, and into what it is to have lost something very close to you, and to try and discover, try to want the answers to something, and maybe it's not the best.
Yeah, I did wonder about the advice from the therapist that your character sees. Let's go to your old childhood house instead of not go to the seaside and take a couple of days of sunshine. No, go to that traumatic home of yours.
Go on your own. Yeah.
All by yourself. Yeah, let the tricks play with your mind and everything. It'll be fine. It'll be cool. But you're right, aren't you? It's like your character does, which it's a trope of horror movies, because without it wouldn't work. But the characters do things that you just look and go, don't do it, don't do that.
I think that's most.
Yeah.
Sorry, really, because you have a meta perspective of
sure.
Well, something bad's going to happen.
No, take it from me. It's a fine film. I really enjoyed it. It's got some good. It's a nice, slow-paced psychological film. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's intermixed with some quite traumatic moments. Special effects are great. You won't see them yet, but the special effects look really good.
Some images of Mark's face.
Yeah. Some great stuff. So no, I'd recommend people to see it when it's out. I think July, David said, sometime in July. So congratulations on that, and the performance is really cool. It's it's really cool.
That means an awful lot.
It's sincere. I really mean it. Because obviously, once, as I said, the first time I came across your work was in Ghosts of Dawnus. And then once you do a bit of research, you can discover this wealth of just, oh my God, this stuff that you've done. I've got to talk about Knightmare Live, because I haven't actually seen. I've seen bits and pieces online, and it looks fab. But for anybody that doesn't know, the Knightmare TV series, which I loved, that was about late 80s, early 90s, something like that.
87, 94.
Right. So I was probably about 20, 21 when it first came. But me and my wife used to love it. It was on the kids' time, but it was great, and I haven't done any research since, so this is from memory. But it's obviously pre-internet days. It was filmed on a green screen, with the kids guiding another masked child round this, computer graphic castle sort of thing, a kind of Dungeons and Dragons type thing.
I know so much about Nightmare now. I used to love it as a kid.
Yeah.
And I'd rush home from school to watch it.
So how the hell did you go from this really? And it used to get something like, I remember at the time, 6, 7, 8, 10 million views or something. For a couple of years it was
incredible. It was like 6 million views.
Yeah, really incredible.
Similar little thing that X Factor was getting. It was massive.
It was huge at the time. So how
it was done with using the same special effects they used on the weather report.
Really?
Kind of where the initial stuff came from. Was they do this thing on the weather. The background is there.
Yeah.
They used paintings for the dungeons. So David Rowe, the artist, painted up these beautiful backdrops with this very, very strict perspective box, so that everything lined up perfectly. And these kids, they walk around this blue room and put a helmet on, they couldn't see, and in the next room, their friends would sit looking at a monitor and a chest, and they'd have to guide them around.
I remember a couple of things from it, which, again, this might be the passage of time, but I seem to remember two things. Everywhere they went, they were in a room. That was it. You're in a room. I was like, okay, all right. But also as well, I don't remember, I could be wrong, many winners of the game. Is that correct? Most didn't actually succeed in...
Oh, it's like in 8 series, there were 8 winners.
Really? Right, so that's
there were 2 series where nobody won at all. And that's, I think, a testament. And to be fair with you, like 2 or 3 of the winners, one of the winners won because it was Christmas. One group won because we're cancelling the show. And there's a couple of guineas in there. Like, it's really hard to do it legitimately. Yeah. Nightmare was really hard, and I think that was sort of part of its charm and a testament to its longevity. It didn't patronise people.
Yeah, I don't know how they would get away with it these days with nobody winning, because it was just one of those things. It was.
I think it would work. I don't think it was anything about the time. I think it was just people don't take any risks on television, especially now. They take pure risks.
Yeah.
And back then they were like, no, if they do it wrong, they're dead. And off you go. Inside secret, if the kids were mucking around or bad, off screen, they'd just kill them off.
Brilliant, love it.
Never mind.
So how the hell did you go from being a fan of the show to thinking this would make a great live show? How did you go from that to the other?
Well, I've been doing a few shows at the Edinburgh Fringe anyway.
Okay.
Dancing into the comedy scene and cabaret scene and things like that.
Yeah.
And there's always very much one of those sort of conversations of what would make a good Fringe show.
Yeah.
We took Crystal Maze or Funhouse or Knightmare, and then sort of Knightmare just stuck. I did some research, found an email address or an old email address online for what I think was a pseudonym for Tim, the child who made Knightmare.
Right.
I created this whole pitch, which I sort of hand drawn stage area and things. Sent that off to him, and got this email back a couple of weeks later, and was completely shocked. And then a month later, I met with him and Hugo Myatt, the original Trey Garden, in a pub up the road from here.
As you do.
Which was marvellous and lovely. And they were sort of like, they were so lovely and so like pleased and welcoming, and sort of said yes, which was fantastic, really. And so I did a small Kickstarter to make money for the set and everything, and took it to Edinburgh, and it did really, really well. And so I've been doing it sort of on and off since. So we're in our 6th year now. And 2 more will be running the same length as a TV show.
What's been the reaction of the actual fans of the show? Because it has got a bit of a cult status, hasn't it? So, what's been the reaction of the fans of the show? Because it has got a bit of a cult following, and sometimes you can upset, an original audience. What's your reaction been like from them?
The reaction from fans has been sort of universally really positive.
Good.
Which has been really wonderful. And really, we sort of take it's done as a very passionate and very friendly homage to Knightmare. So we understand the rhetoric of Knightmare. We play, we never send up. We sort of send it up without making fun of it.
Yeah.
Like the joke is always double down. Instead of like the best way to explain it, I guess, is you meet a wall demon, and it's never oh, isn't the wall demon like the wall demon is correct?
Yeah.
The wall demon is just like, what is your name? And they go, oh, my name's Chris. You go, oh, Chris, a warrior's name. And it's borderline patronising. It just sort of knows it. Always go further with it. Just go, this makes perfect sense. This is the reality. Double down on the weird logic. It's another thing, and it's rather than sort of backing off and going, oh, wasn't it a bit silly and a bit chonky.
Because it's part as well, improv and part audience participation as well, isn't it? So that must get a bit weird at times, depending maybe.
Yeah, that can get weird, but it keeps it interesting as well, and because it has to be a live game, there has to be a game element to it. So again, people come on from the audience and put the hat on, and they can be wonderful and change the entire dynamic of a show because they've interacted with a wall demon or a goblin or a thing, and that sort of helps. Just helps with the show, and I've got some very, very talented people working on it, which is a joy.
Yeah.
So we just have a lot of fun. Yeah.
I understand as well. You had the original Trey Goddard's one appear one time.
Yeah, Julia's been a few times now.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, we've been very lucky. We did the show. The first time was at the West End, which was probably our biggest show we did in 2016, and we sort of kept it very, very quiet, and we've had to come on and do cameo, and people go nuts. It's absolute chaos. Great fun though, so much fun, and I can't tell you how nice he is. Sort of like, don't meet your heroes. Now he's wonderful. He's so good. Yeah.
So you've got more or less shows planned for that. That's still going on. That's going to continue as well as long as you want to.
We've got a couple coming up. 9th of March in Birmingham at the Mac. 26th of April in London at King's Place, and probably some more coming in the future. We're going to go back to Manchester. We tend to do a lot of conventions these days.
Okay.
Board game conventions, UK Games Expo, and things like that, because it's sort of because I do another show that's predominantly a similar audience for sort of nerdy nerds.
A bit like me, yeah. Is that the MMORPG?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So my sort of philosophy of it is, I keep trying to put it on in theatres and think, that's silly. Just go to where the nerds are. It's much easier.
So, any plans to come back up to Scotland soon? Then, anything work-wise or anything like
that? There's potential of Edinburgh always.
Okay.
Looming large, but nothing concrete as yet.
Okay. So what are the plans? And you say you've got a few shows booked here and there and stuff for the Knightmare. So what does the future hold for Paul Flannery in the next year or so? Do you think that far ahead? Do you work that far ahead?
Wish I knew. I do try to. I've nearly got a booking for next year already, which is quite nice. So I want to do more conventions because it's a lot nicer. It's sort of people are already there. It's a sort of nicer atmosphere, and generally, a lot of fun and a lot less, if I'm honest, financial risk. I'm always up for doing more things. David and I are always sort of chatting about other projects and other bits and bobs that could or would or might happen. But that's sort of the world of sort of films as well as television is very sort of. You sort of throw a lot of things in the air. So.
It's a weird time, isn't it, for TV with streaming and films as well, I suppose as well. It's on the one hand, some people call it like the golden age of television, and yet on the other hand, you've got so many things just being cast aside so quickly, with Netflix and that sort of thing. Do you feel it's a good time to be working now, or do you feel there's just like you say, so much out there that nothing's sticking at the moment?
Well, no, I think I think it's true. We are in the golden age of television in one sense.
Yeah.
Huge dramas, more budget, loads of work, loads of wonderful actors, loads of wonderful directors and writers. Getting tons of work. I think we've lost something on a sort of domestic level. Not because of that. I think certainly British comedy is is in a very strange place, and
it's dire at the moment, isn't it?
It's just tied itself in knots. Yeah. And it's not that I don't think, I think the people they do have on television are funny and sort of, but it's an endless panel shows, and we haven't made a sitcom, proper sitcom since The Office.
Like, no, I was going to say, even that was like one of its own, wasn't it? I mean, the traditional British sitcom, I don't know, I couldn't even think of the last successful one apart from The Office. Even that was so. I think it's just very strange. I think you were right. What you said a little while ago, that they don't seem to take many risks these days. Now it's the risk taking's gone. It's all by panel, isn't it, and so forth.
No one has the money to fail anymore. Yeah. And I think like when you had a bunch of you get out a bunch of sitcoms, and some of them won't work, and some of them will be Red Dwarf or something brilliant, and you just have to take the rough with the smooth. I find a lot of people who work in television, it's a very revolving door.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get anything off the ground, especially sort of domestically. And I find a lot of my peers are sort of working in television without sort of being given the keys to their vehicle.
Yeah.
So, well, you just want to, you used to be winning Edinburgh Ford, and you get a commission for your sitcom, and then you sell it on DVD, and your house has been bought. You're having a great, that's your career in your life sorted. But obviously DVDs died, and then this sort of happened. So.
Do you feel as if live performance and stage work is your true love? Then I mean, obviously you want to work more in films and continue doing that, but is stage work, is that where your true love actually is in terms of this?
Yeah, I think that's where it's certainly where I'm sort of at my sort of most comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in doing more films. Feature films were surprise to me. Going, this is it's a completely different process, but just as rewarding.
Yeah.
And so I'm sort of very much into that. But live stuff, like at the minute, I've got a couple of shows at the Vault Festival in London, and we'll continue to sort of do live performances as I go, because it's easy. It's sort of very easy. So the feedback is immediate.
Yeah.
You crack a joke and it's there, and the validation instantly or something like that.
Yeah.
I am a good boy. It's been like 2 years since The Dark Within.
Yeah. I don't know. I was going to say, somebody asked me what I did like a week ago or a year ago. Yeah, I wouldn't know. And you did very well, actually, remembering 2 years ago. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good.
Yeah. The bunker set was just, I forgot all about it. It's so phenomenal.
Yeah.
If this thing is available, and this wonderful man, Harry, who owns this bunker, and you just go down. It's not a set. It's literally what you see. You go through a big metal door, and you go down 200 yards of tunnel that heads down at an angle, and then into this sort of facility. Right. And it's an absolute gift.
And whereabouts was that? Was that in the Aberdeen area? Was it?
Yeah, it's right on the Aberdeen coast.
Okay, all right.
And phenomenal place to sort of, and amazing Wi-Fi, just 50 metres underground. It was a real gift because it's just so creepy.
Yeah.
And as soon as you turn out all the lights, it's pitch black. This is enough on its own.
I was just saying, it helps you get into character a wee bit, I suppose, a wee bit more,
Not a problem. Absolutely no problem at all.
Well, listen, mate, I've taken a lot of your time up. I do thank you for giving me, some of your time. I'll say, really enjoyed Ghost of Darkness. Loved the comedy. Loved you in The Dark Within. Next time you bring the show up to Aberdeen, let us know. I'll come down and see you, hopefully. And
where are you based?
Yeah, and I'll wear the helmet. I'll do the thing. That'll be
Where else are you based?
Just north of Aberdeen, so about 30 miles north of Aberdeen. So
there's not much north of Aberdeen.
No, we're not far from Peterhead. So you've got so we're right on the Moray Firth and just along. So it's about 45 minutes north of Aberdeen. So yeah, we've got right outside my house, just here, the sea. So it's great.
Amazing.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, come on up, mate, and we'll. I'll come and see you. That would be so cool. I wish you all the best in everything you do. And thanks for your time. Hope the cold gets a wee bit better and that you're not feeling so crap, and all stuff. You've been great. So you wouldn't know that you had a cold. It was great. Paul, cheers, mate. And you take care. All right, man. Okay. You take care. Bye-bye.